Hello and welcome to day 49 of Awakening to Ascension. I will be your host today, Janae, and I'm joined with Marlene and Alex. And today's topic is a deep dive into the pineal gland, and it is the seat of the soul. If you have any contributions with regards to our topics, if you have any comments, if you have any experiences, please do share because we love hearing everybody's comments and stories. It's really just a beautiful community that we are creating. So it's always appreciated. Okay, let's get going. So for those of you that don't know what the pineal gland is, it's a little pine cone shaped gland in the center of your brain. And what it's doing is it's bringing together the two hemispheres. And where this gland is situated is right behind your third eye. So in the center of your forehead. And sometimes what happens is the pineal gland can get blocked. And how that gets blocked is with a buildup of calcium phosphate. And calcium phosphate is built up by blue light, and that is from our cell phones. It's being on our cellular devices, screens, TVs, computers, anything like that. So what you can do to ensure that this is not going to cause any harm to your pineal gland is by turning your light density lower so that it's not so intense and changing the light to dark mode as well. And another thing that can cause this calcium phosphate to build up is fluoride. And fluoride is found in our toothpastes and water. Now, what you need to do is you can make these changes by using charcoal-based toothpastes. You can use sea salt toothpastes. You can find various alternatives at many, many outlets. Lots of places are starting to distribute fluoride-free toothpaste. And with regards to water, you can just filter your water. Buy filtered water if you are able to. And here in our country, in South Africa, we have these really cool machines that you can go to that are all over the place. And you bring your bottle, like you bring your 5 liter. I have a 25 liter that I use, and you go and you fill it up with oxygenated filtered water. So that is how I would like to begin the episode so that you all understand exactly where this pineal gland is and what could be causing the blocks. And we're going to go straight into it. Yes, Alex.
Yes, she's absolutely right. I actually did not know about the blue light factor. It doesn't surprise me. It makes me wonder if red light would do the opposite. That's interesting. I don't know if either of you know that answer. But yeah, so the pineal gland is like our intuitive center. It's where when that's more activated, we can hear ourselves more. And it is a pine cone shaped gland. And when it activates, it's like the petals on the pine cones open up and it does connect to different parts of your brain. And I quit using fluoride as much as I possibly could a few years ago. And after doing that, I've mentioned this in previous episodes where I began I feel a sensation right here. And the more, and I noticed, I think breath work actually activated it quite a bit. I was doing the Wim Hof breathing technique where you like hyperventilate for a while and hold your breath after you exhale and focus on your forehead or like that space between your eyebrows, and you can actually start to feel like a very faint pulsing. And the more that you stay away from fluoride water and fluoride toothpaste, and apparently the blue light, yeah, I mean, I don't use my phone very often, so that kind of explains it. That feeling starts to get more intense. So right now, I can actually feel this pulsing about like it's like a blue light and it gets more like aqua-y the more it goes out, and it feels like it's about this big right here. So do you guys know if red light does reverse it? I'm just curious.
So
Marlene.
there's a lot that happens when you use red light therapy. Um, and it is very healing, and it does reverse. Obviously, it takes a little bit of time for it to start kicking in. Um, you can do red light therapy in a sauna, far infrared sauna, as well as just ordinary red light. It is super powerful, Alex. You're onto something there. And yeah, the blue light is certainly something that we need to um, make sure that we don't get too much of. And kids that sit in front of the screens all the time, that is also why they become ADHD and they can't focus, because that endocrine gland, this pine-shaped endocrine gland, is quite fascinating because it's the one endocrine gland in the body and an organ that doesn't have left, right to anything. So that is why it is the point of focus in the center of your brain. And then it makes sense that that is your kind of like your third eye, your cyclops eye. Cyclops meaning one eye. You also were talking about when you do your breath work. So breath work and sound work is exceptionally important, and the reason for that is because it causes the vibration. And when you have the vibration happening, your third eye starts to actually activate and pulse, as what you were talking about. And that's the reason why you feel so much heightened sensing when you do those kinds of activations. Um, Alex, yes.
So I want to ask the question, why in the world would our system, the government, the powers that be, why would they have any incentive to to calcify our pineal glands, our intuitive centers? And the answer is because we're so much easier to control when we don't think for ourselves. So they just keep us quiet, they keep us in the dark so that we can just stay in survival mode and do all the things that they want us to do so that we can benefit the corporate leaders and put more money in their pockets rather than spreading the wealth and harmony and unity across the planet to each individual. So with that in mind, just do yourself a favor, get off of fluoride, use your phone less, begin to think for yourself. You'll realize like you're starting to wake up, see the world's not exactly as you thought it was. And then the next step is to act. Yes, Janae.
Ah, yes. You know, these controversial conversations that we have, and we have to be so very delicate with the words we use. I just wanted to touch on what Marlene was saying with the breath work and with the frequency, the vibrations, and what one can do to activate the pineal gland is to do a very simple exercise. So, what the pineal gland is, it is thousands of these crystals that, when activated, they vibrate. And that's the activation that one would call the all-seeing eye. So, what you do is you take a deep breath in through the nose, and as you reach the top of your breath, you hold your breath, but while holding your breath, you squeeze and tighten your pelvic floor. So the root chakra. And what this does is it activates the cerebral fluid in your spine. And when you do that, you visualize from the root, from your pelvis, you visualize this light of energy going through your spine all the way to your pineal gland. That's how we activate the pineal. You can also do it by looking at the sun. We've discussed the sun gazing, and that opens the third eye. Now, what the third eye is, it is the all-seeing eye. This is where our visualization is activated. This is where our visions come from. This is where the power that is in us is stored. And that is why it is so important to understand the power behind it. Many cultures put something on their third eye to protect the third eye when out. And it is very important because it can have an evil eye placed on it. That's where I told those of you in another episode that the eyes are the windows of the soul. When having a conversation with someone, you do not want to have a gaze for longer than 4 seconds because of the connection you make between the two of you, and to stare at the forehead, which is the third eye. Now, if you're staring at somebody's third eye, that connection can also be something, if that is your intention, it is a very, very powerful tool. And I speak of experience because I was in a meditation once for the third eye specifically. And when I opened my real eyes, my room was pink. I closed my eyes because I was like, whoa. And I opened them again just to, that pinch, like, what is happening? My room was still pink. I did this about 3 times because I was like, what is actually happening? That is how powerful your third eye is. When you tap into that power, my goodness, what you see, what you feel, and what you are guided to is enormous, because that is connection to source itself. Yes, Marlene. Sorry, Marlene, you're muted. You're just going to have to start again.
There we go. Thank you. Okay, so I wanted to mention that the pineal gland is literally like our radio receiver for the soul. And in terms of that, something that I don't think many people actually understand, the pineal actually picks up electromagnetic frequency. Think about where your pineal gland is. It's in the middle of the brain, behind. It's in the darkness. It doesn't see. Yet, it's the all-seeing eye. It is connected to neither the left or the right hemisphere of the brain. It gives you the clarity. It sees with clarity, and it sees in darkness. So as much as what we do sun gazing, if you do dark room frequency, again, your pineal gland starts to pick up. So it takes away all the disturbance of sounds, of sight, of light, and that darkness does incredible things. And it also calms your nervous system. Once the nervous system starts calming down, your pineal even becomes more active. Something that we haven't spoken about yet is also, over and above the water and the fluoride, what we eat also has a big role to play. And there are certain things that can help to open the third eye further. I don't know if you guys can even remember that movie, Chocolat. The guys and the girls drank raw cacao, but the raw cacao was mixed with spices. And they all became more heightened in their senses, and specifically, actually becoming more connected to themselves and to the higher beings. and that is all about the pineal. So to eat raw cacao, to eat tamarind, and to eat boron, those are things that help the pineal gland to become heightened and to cleanse. Remembering also that one of the things that we struggle with a lot on this earth plane is all of the toxicity. So, the more heavy metals we have in our body, the more we become dumbed down. So, again, the other thing that you can do is do a little bit of work on releasing any heavy metals that you have in your body. And I can tell you something now, anybody listening to this, there is no person, there is no being on this earth that can tell me that they don't have any amount of heavy metals. Those heavy metals also make that we become foggy in our brain thoughts. So when you have that tiredness and that fogginess, that really is a telltale sign of the heavy metals. Janae.
Thank you, Marlene, for touching on that because I want you all to think of this. All right. When you place tinfoil inside of a microwave or metal inside of a microwave, what happens when you turn that microwave on? Sparks are flying, it can explode, right? Our bodies are these energetic vessels. We are the microwave. What you put inside your microwave is so vital because majority of the foods that are being given to us have heavy metals in it. There have been studies that have shown that there is even metal inside our water. So please be so observant and so conscious with what you are putting inside your microwave. And I would like to ask anybody to comment if they've ever experienced a very radical third eye opening experience. Like I explained, I saw a pink room. That was the opening of my third eye. It would be so incredible to hear others' stories because that is something that we connect with. So if anybody has a really beautiful third eye awakening contribution, it's lovely for us to see as well as other listeners and viewers. And if you do also have any other tips with regards to changing of your diet, how you can basically ensure that your third eye doesn't have any blockages or your pineal gland, it's always just so welcome. So thank you.
Thank you, Janae and Marlene. In closing, I just wanted to add a couple things that Marlene sparked inside of my brain about the metals. So, a couple of foods that you can eat that are really great for attaching and dragging those out of your body is seaweed and cilantro. So, those two things literally will attach to these metals that are in your body and help you to expel them. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Like Janae said, please share your experiences in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.